So this is the video for my project, and my project was basically a summary of the information I could find on internet and other providers in my area. So I started off with internet providers since my internet is notoriously awful to everybody who hangs out with me online, as you do during the COVID pandemic. And I was looking to see if there's any way I could try to get a better deal or try to improve my internet speed or bandwidth, and I based my project on that since I thought it would be a good thing to look into. So I wanted to show the difference of the price over time to see which company increased their prices more, but one of the biggest problems I had immediately was that the companies don't list their old prices. I tried looking for them, and there were some lists online, but they weren't by the companies, and they weren't actually confirmed or anything. So I have no idea how to tell if they're real or not. So I didn't feel like I could use them. It'd be like making up information at that point. So instead, I made a chart that basically I was going to do a line chart over time of the prices increasing, but instead I did a bar chart of my prices with basically per company's plan that's offered to me in my area. So I picked a bunch of similar plans offered by each of the 3 companies I could find in my area that actually would give me things I could realistically buy and use at my house, since a lot of these I could choose stuff from Charlotte, but I wouldn't be able to get it here, obviously. So I didn't have that big of an option as I actually thought, which was another problem that I didn't foresee. So overall, one thing I can say is that this project was a lot harder to actually put into a dashboard than I thought it would, the original way I planned to do it. So not only couldn't I find the data on their old prices, but I also don't know how we would have realistically put that into a graph that looked nice. I could do a line graph, but I just made it a lot more simple. So because of my biggest problem, which was not being able to find the data, I had to go for a lot more simple response. And I did the best I could with what I had already planned to do, because I didn't want to switch topics altogether. So I found a bunch of few plans in my area, and I put them into a bar chart. I have a drop-down button for me to pick different types of plans, but since I can't actually list like the channels per TV thing, these are all fairly simple, because I didn't want to have lists of channels per deal, because that'd look awful, and I don't think you would want that in my dashboard. And then I also have internet, TV, and calls, which was another common package they would have. And then my second chart is just simply the cost of each power utility in my area. So when I was looking into this, they had prices per residential house, like residential houses, and then they had different prices for like businesses and such. So I think these are the flat prices for residential houses, but I'm also new to this kind of topic, so I could be wrong here. But as far as I know, the prices I've found are legitimate, and I just have them in a very simple bar graph. And I mean, that's basically most of it. Is I had to do a lot of research, which I found out a lot of stuff I couldn't find. I had to mix our old dashboard programming into basically redoing the stuff I wanted, which was pretty easy. And most of my time was actually just trying to find that research, and I really couldn't. So here's basically all my code. It's pretty simple. And I also have data sets. This one's really simple because there's like nothing to find on power prices. And if you open it up, it looks like this. And this first one is internet only, and you can see I have 2 offers from Spectrum, which are at 400 megabytes per second and 1,000. Now, if I were to pick the best internet speed around, it would be very costly at 90, which I would never do. So, glad to know that. And overall, it's not cheap at all. And then the next option is internet and TV, which has low speeds for one, but this one's also very expensive. And then I had internet, TV, and calls, which was another common one. This one had both at 400, which I thought was fitting, and it's quite a different offer on channels and such, but I didn't know how to put that into a graph, so this is all I can really show. I probably could have found a way to put it into a graph, but honestly, I thought if I tried to do that, it would look extremely cluttered. I was thinking about trying to put like text inside of the boxes, but I couldn't figure. Oh, how did I do that? But I couldn't figure out how to do that. I'm just going to reset that. So I just had to go with a simple plan, which was to show the overall price of the certain types of bundles in my area. And then it's just a simple graph down here for the power companies, which was Duke and Georgia and Dominion. And that was basically all I could really do with my topic. I had a bunch of ideas that I wanted to do, but I had to shoot most of them down because I figured out either the plans were a lot more complicated than I thought. Each company is very different in their approach. I believe it was T-Mobile. Yes, T-Mobile only offered 400 speed at $60 a month with a few other things, and that was their only plan I could find on their website. So that was an awkward situation, and the rest I just tried to plug in stuff I could actually compare, and this is what I ended up with. And overall, I'd say biggest problem was I think I chose an awful topic to graph, because the data on these internet companies, every deal is different. There's some with some certain channels, there's some with other channels. I feel like I could have probably done this a lot better, but I don't have the technical know-how with PyCharm and their dashboards to actually display all that information in a very clear way, unfortunately. And that's probably my fault, but I did what I could do. And that's basically all I can think of to talk about for my project. I was on my own, so I tried to keep it simple. Of course, I even overcomplicated it myself and then wasted too much time researching, so that's on me and nobody else. But either way, I think my project got what I was looking for. I was able to look into the different things, and I can clearly see, Spectrum's probably got the best deal here, seeing as they have $30 a month for the same speed at less than these guys. This is internet only, by the way, so there's nothing else in this deal, it's just speed. Spectrum's obviously the best here, and that's actually what I'm using right now. So who knows why mine is so trash? Perhaps it's just their wires or something. And then there's also these, which I don't really have a say in since I don't really watch TV. And calls and TV, I also don't really watch TV, so I wasn't really looking into these as much. But these are the deals I could find that I could actually compare, since they didn't have a lot of these deals. So yeah, that's basically the majority of my project. So I think that's all I need to talk about. Thank you for this class, and I hope this is enough of what I had to talk about in this video. Alright, well thank you for listening if you're still watching.